Peace, family. Let's hop into a quick IG live consistently on Mondays, Money Church Monday. I'm a little behind schedule, just got off some flights. But Money Church Monday, the spirituality of business, how to live rich, in real life. Rich is our entendre, if you will, for currency, for frequency, for vibrations, right? And how we incorporate spirituality in business. And spirituality being the root of energy flow, of ecosystem, of vibrations, is very, very critical for us, especially those of us who are believers, not in religion, but in relationship. I'm not a religious guy, I'm not a religion believer, but I am a relationship believer, that we have to have a relationship with our Father, with the Most High, with our Creator, with the one who is the author of all these visions we have. So today's podcast, if we call it that, today's episode is how to and why we should protect our visions as CEOs. CEOs are leaders and visionaries of organizations. And I got inspired. I told many of you all. So real quick though, while everyone's in, peace, hello, fist in the air, prayer signs. Give me your favorite Money Church emoji right now. The bag, whatever it is. Put in your favorite Money Church emoji in the chat and share this with a few other people. This is going to be great for entrepreneurs. I definitely got an amazing word. And if you guys have followed me, interesting enough, I had scrolled back through my 4, 5, 6, however many thousand Instagram posts that I have. A few months ago, we scrolled back to my first ever post on Instagram. And my first year on Instagram, I think it was like 2013, 2012-ish. You'll see that I was actually posting Bible scriptures like every other day, right? Like every morning I post a Bible scripture with a cross. And I say that to say, even before then, and all my major transitions and evolutions in business and in life, my Creator, my Father, our Heavenly Father, was right there whispering in my ear from the time I was very, very little, right? And so this word, not religion, but relationship, is a root and a foundation of who I am. And I believe I'm an amazing man who's accomplished amazing things by God's grace, vision, and mercy. And so I got to give credit because I get these whispers. I get the vision, I get the word, I get instructions. So like, yeah, I'm a visionary, but I have to give credit to the author of my visions, right? And so it's a foundation for who I am. But I'm telling you, I got 2 verses that's going to put us all in our head today. Like, this is bars today. And my name is Jay Morrison, for those who don't know you on my page. But for the podcast purposes, I usually do this with my spiritual mentor, Brian C. Dean. We call him Bishop. He won't be in today. So we're going to build on this thing about how to maintain your vision. And I'm talking about not as a 2-year entrepreneur, but as a 20-year, 2-decade-long entrepreneur. And growing. How do you maintain that vision? And what's so important about it? So I told you all, I've been reading the Holy Word, the Bible, the best-selling book of all time, of the world's all time. It's the best-selling book of all time. I've been reading this word chronologically, starting with Genesis 1:1, the first verse, first chapter, first book, in January 1st, beginning of the year. And now I'm on 1 Kings. I'm getting there. I'm getting somewhere here. But over the weekend, I read through 1st and 2nd Samuel, and 2 things stood out that like had me like, yo, I gotta get this to the people. So I'm just giving you food and game, non-religious, right? I use what we call God's Word, what is God's Word, because it has shown up and manifested itself so many times as His Word, right? And so in 1 Samuel, one of Israel's leaders, Samuel, and judges, and I'm not sure if Samuel was a king or not, but I know he was a judge for sure. He then anointed, God spoke to him, a whisper, and he then anointed Saul as king of Israel, right? Check this out though. So in 1 Samuel 15, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord, right? Boom. So Saul is now anointed king over Israel, right? Like, it's like when you get a whisper, It could be a mentor, it could be a coach, it could be a husband, wife, significant other, homeboy, homegirl, whomever. Somebody's like, yo, bro, you should do that business. Like, you should be a realtor, you should be a loan officer, you should be develop the app, do the hair salon, do the online course, flip the house, right? Whatever it is, somebody told you, like, yo, this kingdom, this dominion is for you. Like, do the thing. Be the entrepreneur, right? Or this job, this career, go be the CFO. Go be the director of operations, right? So something called you to do this work, right? And so you have a vision for this work, but then something happened where, here's the story, right? So I'm going to give you the layman's terms, money church breakdown of the story. So what happens is this. God speaks to King Saul and says, clear directions. There's this people over here who are at war with you. I want you to smite them, meaning I want you to kill them, and I want you to kill all of them, man, woman, and child. That's God's wrath, right? And I want you to kill all the animals, the calves, the oxen, the sheep, all of them, the good ones and the bad ones, right? So God gave Saul a clear direction. I'm gonna hand your enemies over to you, right? I'm gonna hand you more dominion, more territory. But here's how I want you to operate in that territory. Just like us as modern day CEOs and kings and queens, God gives us a vision, a whisper, right? In 2015, Jay Morrison, I want you to go galvanize my people and practice group economics. And here's a vision for a company structure. And I want you to seek out counsel and pull this vision together. 2016 Tulsa Real Estate Fund, 2 years of application into the SEC to get qualified to launch this crowdfunding, and I want you to do this thing. I want you to create $20-50 million funds or $1 billion of capital under management for the liberation of my people. Cool, I get a vision. But God gives us a specific vision and a specific way He wants us to operate as we gain new territory. This is where it hit home for me. Peep what Saul does. So Saul goes to the city. God hands over his enemies. But the people are like, hey, King Saul, why we gotta kill all the good calf and the good goat and the good oxen? Like, these could be great burnt sacrifices to the Lord, right? Like, so Saul's like, you know what? That's kind of right. Why would I kill all these good calves when we could take them to the altar, right? So it's like, say God give us a vision. It's like, listen, when you take over this new territory, I want you to fire everybody. I want a clean house, fire everybody. But you get into the company you take over, and you're like, you know what? That CEO, that CFO is bomb. That web developer, they fire. That graphic designer, I need them. Why would God handed it to me? Why fire them when they're totally capable and competent people? When they're about the mission and it all sounds good, and my counselors and advisors are saying doing it and all that, but you go against the clear vision that God gave you, right? So Saul did that. So in 1 Samuel 15:26, Samuel's talking to Saul, and Saul's like feeling all like tight in his spirit, because like now he ain't sitting right, because he could see that he didn't please God. Like, he didn't listen to God. He didn't please him, and now he has this spirit of like confusion on him, right? Basically, right? You know how you don't follow a vision? Like, God gave you a clear vision, like, yo, move here. That's why I'm in Atlanta right now. God told me to move to Atlanta after my corner class in 2016, and in a month I moved. That part, like where God just move and you move, right? Despite logic, despite what everyone thinks is logical, right? This is the place we got to get to. I'm telling you, to operate at rich frequency. Vibrations, high frequency, right? High currency is to where you so in tune with the Most High, you don't gotta check everything off with everybody, every balance, when you know it's clear, when you know it's different when you telling yourself something than when you know it's clearly from the Most High, from our Father, right? So anyway, in 1 Samuel 15:26, Samuel tells Saul, King Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, right? And the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. So because Saul right, did not do what God had asked, God had snatched back his kingship. But check out verse 24. This is the real bar right here. So Saul, King Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned. I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in thy words, because I feared people and obeyed their voice. Bars. Saul knew what God told him to do. He literally went against what God had to say because he feared the voice of the people. He said, I feared the people and I obeyed their voice. How many times, by show of hands in the chat right now, have you had a clear vision, a clear call, a clear purpose to start this nonprofit, to do this ministry, to do this work, to do this environmental work, women's health work, whatever it might be, but you literally had a vision and download clear as day, out of your sleep, out of your dream, like you knew it was God, felt good in your spirit, felt easy, your shoulders went back, like everything about it said that this is right. I got confirmation of peace and everything else. God said, quit the job, be an entrepreneur. God said, go move here. God said, buy the land. Everything felt right about it, but then somebody else, you heard their voice, and they talked you out of something that was clearly from God. Bam. Saul got his whole kingdom snatched from fearing the people and hearing their voice more than he feared God and hearing his voice. That's the law I want to give you all. There's something we've said on prior Money Church Mondays is this, that obedience is greater than sacrifice. Everybody write this down. This is real word right here. A lot of times we always think it's about what we give up and sacrifice and all these different other things. But obedience is the greatest way that we can please our Father and stay in the most high alignment. It's kind of like us who have children, right? I have 3 daughters. And I could tell my daughter, listen, when you're in New York, I want you to walk on the right side of the street when you go on 34th Street. Make sure you stay on the right side. Because I know something about the other side of the street. I don't got to explain all that to her. But as her father, I'm giving her instructions based on my wisdom to stay on the right side of the street of 34th Street. But here, she may see somebody struggling on the left side of the street. And there's no cars coming. There's nothing to impede her. It all makes sense. She has a big heart and empathy. And she wants to make the sacrifice to cross the street to help this person who is clearly in need, against her father's directions and will. That sacrifice does not supersede obedience. Same for a staff member, same for our organization, same for us and our God. So in verse 15, 23, I'm going to read, I had it in my notes, so don't take my phone notes from my verses. But 15:23, in 1 Samuel 15:23, God said this, through Samuel, I believe. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Check this out. For rebellion against the commandments we get, is as the sin of witchcraft. And stubbornness is as iniquity or idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Like, obedience is greater than our sacrifices. So just because it makes sense that we think we could do more work for the kingdom, we think it'll serve our purpose better, we think it'll save more people, if what you're doing goes against the vision and calling that God had for you, then you gotta atone. And Saul still had an amazing kingdom run after that, but it just got funky at the end. But you got to atone for that, and we got to get back right with God. That's the other part I learned. As I've been reading this Bible, this book, this word, chronologically, you can see the patterns and behavior of God and his people, us. You can see how he saves us, how he do us, how he do you. He saves us, get it out of something, and we be happy, and we be prayerful, we be thankful, and then we start feeling ourselves again. And then he got to smack us, bring us back down. And this is ebb and flow through the whole Bible, from every king. Every single one, from every great man, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob to everybody. There's this constant flow of of obedience, and then this flow of stubbornness and rebellion, or walking outside of God's will. So our goal is to kind of always try to auto-correct and self-correct to get us back to a point where we in flow and operate at the highest frequency. So for me as an entrepreneur, for me as a legacy builder, for me as a CEO, where this plays so much is during the last 4 years of Tulsa Real Estate Fund, this verse helped release me because I knew exactly what my vision was from the beginning. It's been very clear. As a matter of fact, the vision was so clear, I gave my book away. I wrote it in my solution book, and I made it plain. I literally wrote the vision out for the whole Tulsa Real Estate Fund. I wrote it out. It's in writing. It's a bestseller. But as the fund launched and went viral and then went under attacks and went through investigations and went through social media attacks and went through smear campaigns and YouTube channels and diversions and divisions and defamations and all that, I started to adjust or tweak the vision because of my fear of what the people would say. Because of my wanting to please the people and not keeping God's commandments first of what he already showed me. Sometimes when God shows you something, you have to endure something that is opposition, but still remaining faithful in what he commanded you in your vision. And that's the value and opportunity for us today, is that, and it's a great part for me, is you grow in strength. So that's the cool part I also read through the Bible, is that as you go through these transgressions, if you will, of disobedience, we're not perfect, and God already knows this. Adam wasn't perfect, right? Off the rip, right? Eve wasn't perfect. But God gives us this grace and still allows us these experiences of even our failures to then make us stronger and make us better kings and queens and better leaders later. And that's what I take from every time that I walk out of alignment, as long as I can find my way back into alignment, right? Alignment, keeping his statutes, keeping his commandments, keeping his laws. Just following God's word and trying to be as close to his heart as possible. As long as I can do that, as long as we can do that, we always give ourselves a shot to be back in good grace and taking those experiences of how we failed and allowing it to groom us, prune us, and really build us, right? So that's the opportunity as a leader, is to always, quote unquote, fail forward, but build, and not just build economically, but build spiritually from our successes. Queen Jada was so gracious to find my solution book, right? And, excuse me, sip of water. And in the solution here, we talk about our political oppression, our economic exploitation, etc. But in this book that God gave me a vision to pen, he told me to pen it, we literally talk about, like, here's a piece from the book real quick, from the solution. Talking about group economics. And in that, we say, this is simply a practice that we see applied every day in cities across America, where other nationalities or cultural groups support their own community at every reasonable chance they get. It's why you see Greek towns, Little Italies, German towns, China's towns, Jewish or Hebrew sections all over America. So don't let anyone run the game on you that supporting our own is somehow racist or biased, especially considering we are in last place in the family wealth category in America. Yet we spend the most of all nationalities. So if we spend the most, yet are the poorest, this should tell us who's not getting our dollars. Us. And a Malcolm X quote I have here is, and you and I are in a double trap, because not only do we lose by taking our money somewhere else and spending it, when we try to spend it in our own community, we can't, because we haven't had the sense enough to set up stores or businesses in our own community. Now, that was talking about group economics, and then later on we talk about our economic curriculum, and then we get on to group economics and we write about Black Wall Street here, O.W. Gurley, Black Wall Street, right, which is downstairs on our walls, and we talk about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund and the opportunity for us to raise our capital. This is already pinned, Tulsa Real Estate Fund right here. This is from 2017. I'm talking about having a vision and making it plain, right? And I think it's very, very important for us to protect our visions and the word that God give us and never fall victim to hearing the voice of people louder than hear the voice of God. And more importantly, being so driven by the voice of people that we fear the consequences of popular opinion or public scrutiny. That's all part of being a king as well and a leader as well. That you're going to get those who love the king, you're going to get those who hate the king. You're going to get those who love the queen, those who hate the queen. You got the Queen of England. Not everybody in the world loves the Queen of England. You got kings all over the country and dominions everywhere. Not everyone loves them. So our voice, our direction, our submission needs to come from a submission of and to God, and to the Most High, submitting to that vision and protecting that vision that He gave us like our life depends on it. So, because it does. Our dominion depends on it. Our rulership depends on it. Our peace of mind, our business, our generational wealth, our legacy, our inheritance depends on our inheritance will grow. Your inheritance will increase. You see it time and time again. Your inheritance will increase the more you are continuously aligned with the Most High and the vision, the specific vision He has for you as a human being, the work He wants you to be and to do. That's our job here as human beings. It's to be who He set us to be and do the work He has set us to do outside of anyone else's objections or opinions about that work, right? Because that's where we lose our dominion. So that's what I want to get y'all today from Money Church. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. What I want to do real quick, actually, Queen Jada, can you just hand me the phone real quick? I'm going to actually get some feedback from you all since we kind of have a different setup with me. So I'm just ping-ponging with myself in the spirit. But now I'm going to tap in with you guys and see if there's anything that anybody wants to share with us. Anything y'all want to share on the word today? Any requests you guys want to take to build on live stream? I'll pull a couple people in maybe live. But I gotta, as I'm growing and I'm being fed, how I'm being fed, I must do what He told me to do. This part of it, listen, Money Church itself is part of the vision. Like, listen, it wasn't Jay Morrison's plan to be on Mondays on live stream, giving out word, giving out spiritual direction, or teaching from this great book. Wasn't my vision. It's not my plan. Ain't part of my business model. Ain't part of my USP. It's not part of anything that I have decided or created, but it is part of my obedience. I must be obedient. I can't not be obedient in this situation. So I'm going to see y'all. We got a couple. I want to hop in real quick, and we could build before we head out tonight. For all those who are looking for business and real estate mentorship, I want to encourage you guys to DM me right here on Instagram. DM me, grow. Let me help you grow. My team, my partner, my brother, our company, we have an amazing mentorship program for real estate investors, realtors, homeowners. DM me, grow for that program. I'm going to pull you in, King John. And then also, we have an event August 30th on how to invest in real estate using life insurance. So link in bio for our August 30th event, right? If you guys want how to invest in real estate using life insurance, also link in bio for our free training. And free training. So you guys can tap in there, but DM me, grow for mentorship. I'm pin it real quick, then pull up King Johnny. Let me see. Okay. 1 second, John, I got you. Link in bio 8:30. And training 8:30. Training. Let's see the guys trying to get this together. And free virtual class. Cool. Appreciate y'all hopping on tonight. Hope I got fed a little bit. I got fed this weekend, man. I read like 2 books of the Bible this weekend. I was lit. I got the chapters. On my Sabbath, keeping his statutes. Listen, Saturday, don't hit me up about no work. I don't work on Saturdays. I don't work on Saturday. Like, I'm off. I got very few exceptions. And that's just me again. I'm just doing what he say. It's easy. You just do what God say. Kind of get easy after a while. We can make our own little thing up if we want, or we can just do what our Creator gave us. Let me see. Mentorship. Boom. All right, peace. I'm gonna post this real quick. Pin this, and King John, let's hop on. Money, Church, Monday, spirituality, business, how to live rich in real life. Keep growing spiritually, increasing our currency. Peace, King.
Yo, what's up, King? Hold on, let me pull over. I don't want to be driving and I didn't think I was gonna get pulled up. You be having so many people on your live.
It's all love. It's all love. Got you in there.
Yeah, what's going on, man? I was trying to reach you. I think we spoke probably like a year ago when I started out with my company. I had DM'd you, whatever the case may be. It must have got lost with everything in there. And I was looking for like a partnership and something that has to do with like I'm in the tech space. So I have a tech company similar to Uber Eats, but I just transitioned into like, pharmaceuticals. I got like an exclusive deal with Somos. They gave me like a government contract and things like that. So right now I'm looking to build like strategic partners. I done opened up the market already in Orlando and Dallas. I opened up the market in Miami. I'm opening up the market here in New York. And I'm looking to just, expand, as big as possible. I've grown my company from the time I DM'd you. If you look back in your DM, if you look at what I've sent you, it was like 50 accounts and like 200 drivers. I got like thousands of drivers now, and I got like over a couple hundred accounts throughout the states. And I've grossed my company to a $25 million valuation. Since the time I reached out to you, but I try to reach out to you most. When you look in your DM, you're gonna see like I'm like, yo, look where I'm at now, but like obviously you guys get millions of DMs, so you're never gonna see them.
That's sometimes we get lucky enough, but look, today was great timing. So now I got you on.
So
we can get to it.
It's crazy. So yesterday, I'll tell you a funny story because somebody I ran into that knows you. So yesterday I was running late to a flight. I caught a flat tire. Ended up having to catch like a standby flight on a connecting flight, right? I ended up running into him 500 and his friend Neo. I ran into them at the airport, and it's just so funny. When I ran into them 6 months ago, I was there. They were trying to invest, but I was like, I don't want any investors right now. I just turned down an offer from DoorDash. They tried to buy me out in July for $10 million. I turned them down. I'm like, I got something good here. I've spent $0 in marketing, and I use like share profit revenue, like the way I've been like doing it. Like my father, he's like the mastermind in this. He's the pioneer of the calling card industry. So I remember when you could call a calling card. He was one of the head guys in Telefonica and IDT. Johnny Rodriguez, you could Google him. He's the one that brought that to the U.S. My dad and a few other entrepreneurs. So we use that same system for my company, and we decided to like just build on that. And we're using like the latest technology. So long story short, I ended up like, I was so upset. I caught a flat tire, missed my thing, and I ended up running into him 500. And when we spoke, he was like, yo, I try to like, I had this conversation about you with my team like 3 or 4 times. Like, damn, whatever happened to that kid, in Miami? Because I ran into him in Miami, and I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, I'm looking for, somebody that can help me grow, build, that's looking for a strategic partner. And he was like, yo, he remembered the whole conversation. He's like, are you still looking for a partner without me having to ask or anything? I'm like, yo, it's crazy how God works, because I was just complaining like I'm having such a bad day. Popped my car rim tire, had to change it, missed my flight, and I ended up having to exchange numbers with him. Now, like within the next like week or so, we'll jump on the Zoom to see how we could build with each other. And look, now I end up getting you.
King, listen, I try to tell everybody, like, this is for real. This is not no spiritual stuff. This is how it works. Everything is all good. Your flat tire is all good. The thing you thought you missed out on is all good. Me not seeing your DMs, for you and me both, is all good. Like, I don't even have regret about not being a part of your company earlier, knowing that I could have had another multi-million-dollar business partner in business. But guess what? God didn't want that for me or for you. I might have got you distracted. You might have got caught up in my shit during that time of people hating on me. Might have messed up your business and hating on me. Yo, that God is the author of all things. And if you're walking in his flow, in his statute, his commandments, you're walking towards righteousness, you're walking towards where he wants, it's all good.
It's just amazing how God works, man. Because I literally I was having like a terrible day. I'm like, why is all this happening right now? Like, oh my God, like this is.
Even though, we think that, see, God is different than us. I was reading in the word, bro. I read the word, like unlocks everything. And it's like, we look at everything carnally, like beauty to the eye, right? So like, I was just reading it. It was talking about like King David, right? King David birthed King Solomon, but King David's the line of how Jesus got here. Jesus came from King David's line, right? His bloodline.
Yeah.
But it was saying in the Bible how King David was basically like not a good countenance to look at. Like, he wasn't like a handsome man. Like, he wasn't that handsome. He wasn't that like the best built king, like all of that. But God made him like a royal king, right?
Yeah.
Us as humans, we need everything to be pretty and to be perfect. And the car is clean, and the gas is full, and my outfit is matching, and she looks good, and he looks good, and the birds are chirping. Like, even when God told Eve and Adam in the garden, he said, look, I give you guys all the fruit you need to live. I give you all the food, the whole garden. And he said, I made two kind of trees. He said, I made trees that are good to eat and those that are good to look at. Just don't eat of the one that is for knowledge of good and evil, right? But Eve saw it and saw that it looked good. We're so attracted and we're so driven by everything that looks good and feels good to us. But God operates of the heart. It's a different spirit and a different frequency and a different energy. We always chasing the shiny thing, like who's popping right now, who looks good right now. My day gotta go good. But sometimes you need the things that we see as bad, like a flat tire. Bro, I've literally told this story in real life about somebody catching a flat or getting in an accident and then having a whole fit about how their day is so horrible. They got an accident, they got a flat, the whole thing. But then the interview they were going to and the building they were going to, somebody ended up shooting up that place while they were going there.
That's
bro,
insane.
take your flats on the chin. If you miss flights, take them on the chin. It's all good. It's all good.
It's crazy. I would look, and it's funny because like my girlfriend, I was like telling him like I can't. And mind you, I just bought this car too, so it was like it was bad. It was a crack. I'm like, what what is going on today? Like, then I get to the airport, I missed my flight. I had to catch the connecting, but thank God I had to catch the connecting to Atlanta because I ran into him 500 and Neo in the Sky Lounge. And when I got their number, I was so pissed because 6 months ago, like I wanted to build, and I had lost that phone. I didn't have their number. I've joined their live multiple times. I've joined your live multiple times and wrote you like check your DM, like check your DM. But I'm like, obviously you get 1,000 DMs, you never see this. And it's just so weird. I'm like, he's probably never gonna see this. I'm gonna just jump in and just write. Who knows? He might see it, he might not. And it's just like, wow, you saw it. I'm like, oh shit. Like, it's just timing is just everything, Like, it just worked out so perfectly because now was like the time where it's like, wow, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than what I got. I just secured a $10 million contract, with the government here in New York City to deliver all their pharmaceuticals. They're going to use me as a main distributor. Now it's time to start getting these strategic partners and start expanding because these guys got pharmaceutical companies all over Atlanta, Douglas, all over, like different states. And the way I set up my company, I put it as shared profit revenue, where I can give you the whole platform and you could be your own boss, partner with me. And then when the time comes to go public or buy out, you get bought out times 52, whatever you invested. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no loss in this. It's just like Uber. When Jay-Z invested into Uber, he threw what, $27 million into there when nobody even knew who Uber was. And then they grow to what, a $400 million valuation. Jay-Z came with another $100 million check. Yeah, they were like, no, we're good. Because when we get bought out, we go public. This is way less money in our pockets. You know what I mean? But I felt like I'm here. Like, this is just the beginning. Like, when you go back and see your DMs, you're gonna see like this from where I was. Like, I literally sent you like, look, this is how much revenue I did. This is where I'm at. And look where I'm at now, from 2 years, from nothing to where I'm at. Because my story is just crazy. I turned down an offer from DoorDash in July, and for $10 million for a buyout. And at the same time, I didn't have not even $100,000 in my bank account. And my mother, the same year, got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She didn't have insurance. I didn't have that. And then, thank God I didn't say yes to that, because who knows what I could have did with that money. December comes around, a friend of mine that I went to school with introduced me to this owner of this building. He owns a bunch of buildings here in New York. He's my only investor. He turned around and invested $2 million into my company. And I took some of that money, and I was able to have my mom go see some of the best doctors in Houston. I went to take her to these doctors. Now she got a doctor. She's doing good right now. Like the cancer's still there, but she's good. Like she's getting the best treatment. But
God is good.
it wasn't meant for me. And I was stressed. I was miserable because I couldn't turn back now after I already turned them down. And just late December came, and I ended up meeting with him. Everything went smooth. The lawyers changed all the contracts, verbiage. It all happened smoothly within a month and a half. He invested into the company.
Here's the next level to that faith, right? And I definitely will check your DM after this. I already got a vision. I'll share with you privately, right? For how we can work together. But here's the next level to faith, right? That I've learned. I want to give you, and I'm glad that Dr. Boyce Watkins joined. Glad that Toya said this is amazing, increasing her faith. Thank you to someone who just bought a bag earlier too. Appreciate you. Who was that? That was Tani Johnson. She bought a bag. A realtor. Thank you so much. But check this out. Imagine going through the turmoil, right, of the offer, the deal, losing the phone, the cracked rent, all those things, and you get to a point where it's a storm around you, and you just sleep through the storm. Peace be still. Imagine getting to the point where none of those things even get your blood pressure even going, or even bother you, or because everything's all good.
Yeah.
That's the next level we call masterpiece, King. It's one of our biggest assets, that masterpiece, to where things could be going frantic around you, but you could stand strong in the middle of the storm. Because as your company grows and your valuation grows and your partnerships grow, there's going to be new devils as you reach new levels. So what God, He's teaching you now how to prepare for abundance.
And it's so crazy because people that I've grown up with, like I've lost people that are close to me I never think I would lose, like friendship wise too. It's like people are just like I feel like God is just taking certain people, like they shouldn't be there to enjoy this when I get to this point. Like people that I've needed when I was down, I'm just like, wow, like shit, like so many things are happening at me at so fast pace. It's just unreal. Like it's just like sucks because you want to be up with people, but then it's like he removes so many people, and it's like, am I supposed to be like, I guess there's new people I'm supposed to meet and enjoy these endeavors, and they're supposed to help me and take me to the next level. Like, I guess I got to lose some people on the way that you would never expect to lose, that you would do anything for.
Of course you do, right? Like that's all part of what you learn in husbandry, right? Is pruning. So sometimes to get a tree to grow and to bear more fruit, you actually got to cut away parts of the tree. You actually got to cut some in order to gain more. That's a universal law, bro. So that's why I said I'm gonna DM you. I definitely got a vision. Like, it's something we definitely can talk about strategic partnerships and growing a business. That's easy, but there's something more you're gonna need on this journey. It's deeper.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot coming to me at once. It's just like I'm still going. Like I'm gonna share you a bunch of stuff where you're gonna be like, wow. Like even I'm still trying to figure out. Like it's almost like I have like that sense of feel like I'm gonna be all right. Like they're giving me a shot. And it's like obviously. There's only so far you can get by yourself, Like, without a strong team, you can't get that far. You know what I mean? And not everybody got the same vision as you. Not everybody could believe or even comprehend the things that you're already doing. And that's how I feel like where I'm at.
And that's why this whole lesson was about vision. That's what God gave me. I actually typed this title to Jada on Thursday, and I was on the plane as I was reading the word on the plane, and I got this vision to do this class tonight. This class tonight is off a vision I had from Thursday.
It's crazy.
Of word I read on the plane on Thursday, bro. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just following the vision. Not knowing what's going to come of it. You just be obedient. That's it. Just be obedient. Let the rest do what it do. So who knows what happens with me or somebody else, how somebody else's life is changed by this. or me and you might make 100 M's together. I don't know. I'm just being obedient.
It's crazy because I've jumped in your live. Every time you've gone live, I think I've jumped on a roll. Now you're never gonna see this, but it's like freaking. And the first message you've seen, I'm like, oh, he just said my name. Oh shit, let me pull over real quick. Wow, this shit is happening for me. I literally was like, that's exactly how I felt when I came. I'm like, this is unreal. Like, I literally had like the words that like I was literally with my girlfriend. I'm like, yo, this is unreal. I can't believe this. And boom, I see Neo in the airport. Boom, we start talking. He all of a sudden said, you're the kid from Miami. I was just speaking about you. Then him 500 walks up. He's like, yo. I'm like, wow, look how God works. I was supposed to break my tire. I was supposed to miss my flight. I would have never been on the flight and meet them over there at the Sky Lounge. We would have never been like, connecting later on this week.
The more you stay acknowledging God and the more you stay in covenant with him, the more these things will become more real and more real. I never say nothing's unreal. It is actually, all of it's real. It's all real. None of it's crazy. I don't use the term, this is crazy. No, it's amazing. I don't even manifest those things in my life because I operate from a spirit of expecting. I expect amazing things to happen. And even when things that aren't on surface level amazing happen, I still know they're amazing. Even the bad shit that happens, I still know is amazing.
And that's just how I feel. I mean, like, even like like you said, I think everything's just happening the way it's supposed to happen at the time. Because I tell myself this, like, had I had bought out and did that, I would have probably spent a lot of money. And then, the things with my mom, like, she's still here, like, breathing, operating, like, she got a holistic diet. Like, I'm able to afford that for her. Like, she's good. Like, I got more time with her. Like, everything is just going the way it's supposed to be going. Now I'm just like, it's battles, but now we're just like, I feel like everything's gonna be all right.
The battle's never gonna stop. We can't fool ourselves. The battles might get even more intense. The battles, like, all kind of things can still happen, right? Lawsuits can happen, IP claims, all kinds of things can happen, but it's still all good.
So 6 months ago, when I had reached out to you, I was going through something similar to that. I had somebody that invested some money, and he wasn't seeing the turnaround quick enough. So he was always like on me, like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Like I don't, Shabazz?
Yeah.
Shabazz would tell you I'm a good person. He actually was one of the first person when I first started my company, promote me on his page. We were going to do business together. And the guy that I was dealing with that, invested in my company, I don't want to call him a racist or something, but the way he was, like, he didn't want to like do anything, like, oh no, we're not doing it. I'm like, this guy comes from peace and love. Like, this guy is somebody that's, showing me love without me having to ask. Like, and this is at the time I had maybe 50 accounts, maybe 200 drivers, and I couldn't do much business with him because he would just block it. So I ended up having to buy him out. I paid him out. So now I got all ownership of my company, and now I took it from where it was, from like no evaluation to a $25 million valuation. And as a startup, I'm not considered a cent. I'm $25 million valuation at $1 a share.
Yo, listen.
And I've only sold 250,000 shares.
It's all good. The buyout's good. The hate is good. The love is good. The new car is good, and the trim is good. All good.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Thanks for hopping on tonight. But yeah, I definitely want to build with you more, so I'll make sure we get locked in. I'm gonna check the DM tonight when I get off. And
all right. I'll send you my number now when I jump off the live and thing. I'll send it to you so you can have it. And then I guess just call me. I'm up all day. I'm running around every day. I just left Salone and Kettering Hospital right now. I just left another hospital I'm going to. I just been running around.
I got some stuff for you, so it's be a blessing.
All right, peace and love, King. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. God is good all the time. Anybody listening, I hope you heard this testimony, because this is just unreal. Like, this is unbelievable. It's not even like it's spaced out a month from now that I got in touch with Jay. Like, just last week, just on, what was it, Saturday, I caught the flight, ran into these guys 6 months later. Look, I'm back in New York, and I just finally ran into you the first day I jump on your live. Now we about to connect. It's just falling in line.
You flowing, King. You flowing. Abundance, man. Abundance. That's love.
All right, man. I'll let you go. I'll send you a DM.
On that vision. Love. Peace.
Peace.
All right, family. We gonna close up Money Church. We're gonna adjourn tonight. But It's just amazing, man. I don't know what God's doing with me all the way. I do know a little bit. He told me a little bit, but I don't know the full thing yet. And Money Church and just all that. But I know it's all good, and I know it's necessary, and I know that you know, we focus so much on financial literacy and financial freedom, but we forget about our political freedom, our social freedom, and our spiritual freedom. You know, the bag, money, does not solve all things. It does not. You can have money and be miserable, money and have bad health, money and be a rich slave. You can have money and still be owned in politics, money and still degrading your people, money and have bad marriages, money and all that. So there is like a holistic approach that we do need for real to like really be good. And that's what I'm here for. Like, you know what I mean? Even like I've led, you know, a large charge of the financial literacy revolution, but it always was just to be bait because I know everybody needs money, but for us to get to a larger revolution. That's why, listen, I documented it. What Matty J said, document the process. The solution, how Africans in America achieve unity, justice, and repair. It's not just about economics. My solution is about political, social, economic, and now spiritual freedom and spiritual power, economic power, social power, political power. That's liberation. And we can't be free and be the most of what God has for us, get the most inheritance, the most abundance, the most of his blessings, the most of his favor. We can't have those things and not, I'm not talking about religion. Your religious practices don't necessarily make you closer to God. That's not what God said. Be more religious. Choose a religion. Choose a denomination. It's not what he never said that, ever. It's not nowhere in the book. Not nowhere in his word. But what he has said is, what he has talked about is that he judges the heart, and that obedience is greater than sacrifice, and that we are to keep his statutes, his judgments, his laws, his commandments, right? Like that's part of what we got to do. And the more we do that, the freer we become, the more powerful we become, because then you are less moved by the voice of man, the voice of people. You can stay truer in your vision. You can stay truer in your frequency, in your vibration, in your currency, in that unique dial and signal that he has for you. That's where I love to get everyone to and continue to grow more in myself. I'm not like, I'm not the guru of it, but I'm working on it daily, and it's amazing. And I want you all to have that same level of masterpiece and that same level of proficiency and richness, if you want to call it that. It's true wealth. It's a true abundance of a true asset, and that's favor. Being favored from God. Oh, lastly, before I go, so in 1 Kings, I'm reading now about Solomon. And it's a part, Solomon was King David's son. Interesting enough, check this part out, right? Last part of Money Church, last little story. It's good. It's good work, though. It's good word. So King David went on his roof. And on his rooftop, he saw a beautiful woman bathing named Bathsheba. But Bathsheba was somebody else's wife. But King David walked outside of his covenant, walked outside of God's statutes, and he took on somebody else's wife. Shouldn't have done that. And had seed with her, had a baby with her. And to keep the woman for himself, he, being the king, put her husband, I forgot his name, starts with a U though, Uriah, something like that, put her husband on the front line of battle of war so that he would get killed. So King David could have the man's wife and his son he's having with the wife. So that happens. The man gets killed in battle. And God then essentially had a repercussion for King David, causing blood on an innocent man and taking his wife. But even out of the, what's the word I'm looking for? even out of the disalignment or the sin, if you will, that King David operated in, God still had a blessing within that sin. Bathsheba birthed Solomon. Solomon wasn't David's oldest son. Nevertheless, he still became king over David's oldest sons. Solomon was then asked by God in a dream, what is it that you want? That I will give you favor. And David said, I want a heart for understanding and fair judgment of your people. And God said, because you didn't ask for riches, because you didn't ask for a longer life, because you didn't ask for your enemies, and because you thought about my people and have a heart for my people, I will give you wisdom and a heart of understanding like no other wisdom before you or after you, because you were selfless and your heart was different. And then from Solomon and that King David bloodline again, we get the Messiah, generations later, which came from, again, what we would call a bad thing that King David did. Our Messiah came, Christ came, even from something that was supposedly unintended. God will still bless you and will still give you an inheritance. His grace is that efficient. But also, King David saw the error of his ways and he atoned for it. That's the whole thing. We're going to screw up. It's about how we atone and get back in frequency, atone, get back in alignment. How do we make up for it, right? And how do we continue to move our hearts towards God, our hearts towards the way he would have us work? And when you read all these stories, and to me, I watch them, I'll read and I play these like a movie in my head when I read the book of the Bible. When you read them, you'll just start seeing the patterns of people falling in line with God, out of line with God, in line with God, out of line with God. Repercussions, grace. Repercussions, grace. Favor, mistakes. Favor, mistakes. And you start seeing a real human pattern of really, really great men and women. And it teaches us better how we can operate and how we can align. And so I want to give you that last little bit for Money Church tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, we got a masterclass here in Atlanta. You can pull up in person or join virtually right here. Link in bio, or go to ceoofyourlastname.com. ceoofyourlastname.com. I'm going to teach you how to do real estate, invest in real estate using life insurance, how to make money 4 ways. Also got our free training there, and DM me, Grow, for advanced real estate mentorship. I got you. Peace out.